Back to Bay Area news. A second BART strike was put on hold today because of action by Governor Jerry Brown calling for a 7-day review by a board of inquiry. Our political analyst Michael Yaki is here now to talk about the governor's action and what's ahead. First of all, let's go through what this 7-day board of inquiry will be doing and what's to come of it.
Well, under the California Government Code, the governor is allowed to do two things. One, he can call this board of inquiry, which a party has to request. In this case, the unions requested the governor to come in and do this. He can appoint up to 5 members. He appointed 3. They have 7 days. They can only issue a statement of facts. They cannot make recommendations one way or another. At the expiration of that time, the governor can then decide whether to impose a 60-day cooling off period, which I have a feeling is probably going to be likely in this case.
So they don't take sides in this?
No, they don't take, well, they don't make recommendations as to who should get what, but the statement of facts in and of itself can often, I think, and in this case will be very determinative in terms of what trying to shape public opinion in terms of this particular bargaining, and this is what I think the union is gambling on.
Okay, this is 7 days. Is it very unlikely that another strike will happen next week?
I think it's it's unlikely because the governor will probably will put in the 60-day cooling off period, and then if that fails, they can call in federal mediators, and they have the ability to do cooling off period. I think they are very far apart. They're going to need time to get it together. But what I think this report is going to do is, quite frankly, from the union's point of view, level the PR playing field right now with the BART board.
Okay. 400,000 people use BART every weekday in the Bay Area. Who's at the table speaking for them? We haven't even heard from the majority of the politicians in the Bay Area until the last couple of days. San Francisco Mayor Ed Lee came out on Friday. Now the governor stepped in. Certainly the governor brought in Morgan Stern to help get that earlier 30-day cooling off period. But where is the mass support of politicians coming out for these commuters who are their constituents?
Well, there are 2 ways to approach this. The first is the BART board itself. They are elected by the people of the Bay Area to represent them on this transit issue. They're the people who you elect to make the trains run on time, and they should be more active. They should, I think, be much more at the table. Secondly, though, when you talk about everyone else, well, the big problem here in the very democratic area is that in terms of the unions, they're your rank and file. They're the people who go out on the streets, leaflet door hangers, knock on doors, make phone calls for you when you run for your next political office. So many of the politicians here are caught between a rock and a hard place. They know that the public is upset. On the other hand, they don't want to upset a union that provides them the ground troops for their next campaign.
Okay, and once again, there's been some talk about whether there should be a ban on transit agencies transit workers being able to go on strike at all. Does that have merit?
I think it has a shot. I don't think it's going to pass the state legislature, but then again, you can then take it to the ballot, and I think at the ballot, it's a whole different ballgame.
All right, we'll see what happens. Michael Yaki in the coming days. If you would like to connect with Michael, you can do so. You can find him on Twitter @YakiBlog.